Hey folks, welcome into the Cam Rogers Show. I am Cam Rogers, back and better than ever. It is May 30th, 2018, episode 109 of the program. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. We are presented by Autolist, and boy, do we have a fun hour on tap for you guys. We have this bombshell report that really has some interesting accusations about 76ers GM Bryan Colangelo. This coming from The Ringer. I will document everything that report is discussing and what is to come in regards to that. Plus, a report that just came out a few minutes ago about President Trump directly influencing the new national anthem policy. I'll talk about how that came to be and all the steps that went through. Plus, the top 5 Super Bowl 53 favorites according to the latest Vegas odds, and a final word about Tiger Woods and how he'll perform this week at the Memorial Tournament. Plus, time permitting, little NBA Finals as well. But let's get into the developing story here. 76ers GM Bryan Colangelo has been caught up in a Twitter burner scandal, allegedly using 5 burner accounts on Twitter to leak sensitive information and make criticisms of his own players, some current and some former. So an investigative report from The Ringer claims the following. Colangelo went to extreme lengths to attack Sixers players, including All-Star center Joel Embiid, smeared rival NBA officials, and defended Colangelo's own reputation. Now, Colangelo admitted to using one of the 5 Twitter accounts The Ringer claims he is currently using or was using, and he did also respond to things via a long statement here, so we have a couple of graphics to kind of document that. So, in the statement, quote, "Like many of my colleagues in sports, I have used social media as a means to keep up with the news. While I have never posted anything whatsoever on social media, I have used the @Phila123457 Twitter account referenced in this story to monitor our industry and other current events." Went on to say, "This storyline is disturbing to me on many levels, as I am not familiar with any of the other accounts that have been brought to my attention, nor do I know who is behind them or what their motives may be in using them." So we'll flash some of the tweets from these burner accounts throughout this segment here, but essentially Colangelo is saying, yeah, I was using one of the 5 Twitter accounts referenced by The Ringer, so obviously this tweet here would not be from Colangelo, at least according to Colangelo himself. So in regards to Joel Embiid, that's where I am seeing a lot of the interesting kind of criticisms of his star player. So The Ringer claims one of Colangelo's burner accounts slammed Joel during the 2016-2017 season for being a, quote, idiot whose head is getting too big after he was hit with an injury. One of the accounts in question also scolded Embiid for taking off his shirt and dancing at a Meek Mill concert when he was out because of a knee injury. You can't make this stuff up, folks. And Embiid also poked fun at the GM on Twitter, but did eventually say that he does believe him. According to ESPN, Embiid and Colangelo spoke on the phone. Colangelo wanted to clear the air. Embiid, for now, believes in his GM. Here's what he said, quote, "He called me just to deny the story. Gotta believe him until proven otherwise. If true, though, that would be really bad." Colangelo also criticized #1 draft pick Markelle Fultz, former Philly Stars Nerlens Noel, calling him a punk, by the way, and Jahlil Okafor, as well as former 76ers GM Sam Hinkie, Colangelo's predecessor. So here is the interesting note on how The Ringer reported this story, and it's very intriguing. So the company reached out to the 76ers to verify 2, not 5, 2 of the accounts, and asking whether they were in fact Colangelo's. So this, in a sense, was a test to see what would happen to the other 3 Twitter accounts. So on that same afternoon, after reaching out to the 76ers, the 3 accounts not mentioned switched from public to private. So that obviously is not a good look for Colangelo here, but here's the main issue indicating some sort of guilt. These tweets discuss business practices, but also these personal vendettas and beefs inside and outside the organization. So we're not just talking about typical day-to-day stuff. We're not talking about typical just browsing the news, which seems to be Colangelo's defense here. Yeah, I just wanted to keep up with current events, and this is how I did that. We're talking about personal attacks to your own players, calling them idiots, calling them punks, making fun of them for going to a Meek Mill concert, for crying out loud. As the GM, in theory, you are the wizard that puts the chess pieces together to make a franchise successful. In theory, of course. And to do the opposite, in my eyes, is simply counterintuitive to your job. Right? As a general manager, you are certainly not a figurehead. You are making big-time decisions in terms of personnel, in terms of the future of the franchise, and saying tweets like this about, well, did Okafor pass the team physical? You will not say not to lose another chance, but I bet the farm, it's what happened kind of thing. Like making these divisive tweets obviously is counterproductive to what is on your job description, i.e. team cohesion, team success, putting players in the right position to have success for a particular team. Now, by the way, I will mention, this is a normal thing in the sense that executives have burner accounts. That is not, some sort of abnormal thing. But this in particular about calling out your own players and stirring up controversy, at least in the public eye, is not normal. So you gotta wonder, by the way, is this a systemic, chronic issue? Is there more to this story than just Bryan Colangelo and just the Philadelphia 76ers? Are there more GMs out there, not just in the NBA, we're talking NFL, NHL, MLB, etc., that are using these burner accounts to influence or perhaps get back at or perhaps stir up controversy with particular players, executives within a franchise and outside a franchise? So this is the main story now. But there could be many more dominoes to fall as we go throughout finding new information and really fantastic reporting. I give a lot of credit to The Ringer in regards to this. We will revisit this story later in the show as well if some of you folks are late coming into the Cam Rogers show. But as we stand right now, the developing story, 76ers GM Bryan Colangelo caught up in a Twitter burner scandal where he allegedly used 5 burner accounts to leak sensitive information and make criticisms of his own players, including Joel Embiid, Markelle Fultz, Nerlens Noel, and more. So that is the story right now on the Cam Rogers Show. We'll get back to you guys later with more details.